How's it going? Today is 7th of November, Thursday, and we're taking a look at the market. In today's video, there's only one press release that we're going to be taking a look at, and from there, we're going to be touching on budget and on the book. Potentially, there's a very interesting book I would recommend if I want to read it. We're going to touch on the book in just a second first. Definitely sources where we're going to be taking this information from, right? First, it's a very interesting article. Most like I haven't read it. So that will be published today. That will be challenging assumptions based decisions, user central design. So instead of assumptions, right, we're going to be taking a look at data, a lot of information, most likely historical data and something that ourselves we're going to be taking a look at in today's video, where we're getting this information from, as well as how that information would be presented and how much of that information would be assumptions, right? And perhaps we could evaluate some of those organizations who we taking a look at when we're sourcing all this information from. In the beginning, we can take a look at what this article is with regards to, since there might be a lot of data-based research work, right? Find out more about the challenging assumptions-based design guidance for help social researchers identify challenges and know reframe assumptions-based design. So then we take a look at media and a lot of companies in United States and UK. Something that we were taking a look at in previous videos, how that information will be presented, who is those perhaps supporting some of those media organizations, and who's running those media organizations when it comes to presenting information, how that information is being presented, what are intentions of those people when they're presenting this information, and if they're looking to hide something, and if we need to challenge them on some points, right? All these kind of things, and government's taking notice, as if government didn't know that before. Perhaps at some point it was serving government, and now it's not serving government anymore. Anyway, since we were taking a look at national broadcasters, right, we can take a look at some information that they are publishing themselves, right, and holding them to account. The government data quality hub. Okay. I don't know, it's just funny name, right? Quality. How bad things are that we need this kind of organization. So what was previously? We were running with a frame that everything's great, and it wasn't. So to a certain point where government organizations lost any credibility that they had previously, and they need now quality hub, right? Has recently produced a set of posters and or accountability guidance with aim to help social researchers challenge assumptions-based design. So if anything, perhaps the government is looking to monitor themselves and then presenting information to the public. Well, anyway, I believe it's a waste of time. But anyway, I thought we can take a look at it, and perhaps we can structure everything in a letter, and we send this letter to the center, and perhaps they might be able to explain it to us better, right? Importance of challenging assumptions-based design decisions. Okay, so there's some information there. There's a way of getting in touch with this organization, so we can reach out to this organization, and perhaps if this organization would be able to respond to our email, perhaps they can, or perhaps they might be able to advise on the process going forward, right? So since government has this organization, perhaps we can present some work to this organization, and this organization perhaps would be able to assess some of the work that we're gonna do just in a second, right? Rishi Sunak, when it comes to budget response speech, he have mentioned increase of taxes. There was a lot of statements that would be important. Most important statement, what I believe would be, is borrowing. The chancellor forgot to point out borrowing £1 in every £4 spent, so 25%, or one in four. This is how much it's borrowing, right? Which is raise a lot of concerns, right? And it should raise for many people a lot of concerns where things are. It's something that we were trying to break down and try to understand previously when it comes to many areas, including trade and how much less trade UK is doing, and it's still looking to subsidize the same lifestyle, right? So this is what it can lead to. From there, we can take a look at some of the news articles and full breakdown of the budget, right? We're gonna be taking a look at UK's overall performance when it comes to its budget, right? And we're gonna be taking a look at money coming in, and that would be UK's government income forecast for 2024-25, and potentially we are taking a look at 1.139 billion, right? Potentially of how much money is coming in, which should be important when it comes to understanding where things are and how government is performing, right? So that's entire case for potential performance, right? And from there, we can take a look at money going out and how UK's economy performing, at the UK's government spending forecast for 2024, 25, and where is spending, where they overspending. They're spending more than they're collecting in taxes and all borrowing, all this kind of things. Since we were taking a look at borrowing and where things are as of now, right? So potentially money coming in and money going out and where things are, right? And when we're taking a look at money going out, we're taking a look at 1.226 billion spending, right? I was trying to find information how much UK is borrowing, right? So this particular information is very hard to find. It's very, very hard to find. But I have seen it somewhere recently, but I can't find it. So I was trying to use, I don't know, have some assistance. That would be UK's government total borrowing requirement for 2024-25 financial year is challenging to pin down. Exactly, it's very hard to find out, right? Exact figures right now due to ongoing revisions. A lot of gymnastics going on, but anyway, the economic conditions, however, initial estimates to update plans suggest that total borrowing needs may range above 300 billion. So it's above. I would say it's roughly around 380 billion. This is how much potentially government gonna look to borrow, right? So if we were taking a look at total budget, which was 1.220 or so, fourth of that UK potentially gonna be looking to borrow, which is massive amount, right? Well, again, all these numbers might change the base, so one factor might. There's a lot of things going on, right? So, but it's roughly as of now can be 380 billion. This is how much potentially UK gonna be looking to borrow, right? From there, let's progress and let's take a look at other information what I believe would be important, right? Interesting book that was recommended to me to read. It was, I think, yesterday. I have started yesterday. There was a couple of parts that I would like to bring more people's attention to when it comes to this book. Perhaps it's worth, since the way how I started today's video, we're taking a look at data and how that data would be presented, and it's something that would be called challenging assumption-based decisions. So assumptions, right? So this is what we're taking a look at. Where is that data that we're looking to support our potentially historical decision making, and more importantly, where UK is borrowing this money from. And there's the book published on that. Since there's a lot of people who look into lend you money, right? But anyway, this kind of book I will highly recommend for people to read it when it comes to decision making, right? That anyway, Confessions of Economic Hitman by let's keep names just in case. In memory of the Perkins former consultant and or self-described economic hitman, reveals how economic and or political pressures was used to manipulate developing countries for the benefit of United States corporations and or government interest. In the book, he explains how consultants like himself were tasked with uh, persuading development nations to accept large loans for infrastructure projects, loans they often couldn't repay then these countries inevitably fell into debt. They will be pursued to offer up control of natural resources, political influence, or military bases in United States or its allies. Perkin describes how the strategy using economic control rather than outright military intervention was used to keep countries in a state of dependency and serve the broader goals of United States influence. The book has sparked a lot of discussions about the global economics and ethics, drawing both precise and criticisms for its claims. Perkins' work highly issued around the corporate and government manipulation in developing countries. This is what the book is all about, yeah, and has influenced readers' perspectives on the international development of foreign policies, as well as thought, even if that doesn't make sense, right? So there's potentially there's a lot of people who look into offer a lot of money, and perhaps a lot of money that people and all governments, but governments, people just kind of working and doing their job. The people end up paying the cost, right? And governments ending up giving control of the water companies and or natural resources, all these kind of things, right? Or allowing other governments to build military bases, all kind of different ways, right? So I thought we can break it down even deeper. So that would be in the analogy of Confessions of Economic Hitman, the idea is that for every $100 worth of oil extracted from the country, only about $5 of that money actually goes into nation itself. The rest in it taken by multinational corporations, banks, and financial institutions involved in extraction of distribution and or processing of the oil. So mainly, this is at the time something that so-called economic hitmans were focusing on oil and how to extract that oil with no cost or very little cost, right? Hopefully, UK won't end up like this, but with this level of borrowing, it's kind of should raise some alarms, right? No, when it comes to 5% or out of 100 or $5. This is a small portion of actual estates in the country, often pocketed by a political elite or used in ways that benefit foreign interests more than the local population, right? So that's really $5 out of the 100, right? So if that's something that was described in the book, perhaps it's something that we are taking a look at the way how we started in today's government's press release. Decision making not based on assumption but on user-centered design, right? Which is kind of worrying. That's what's that. Thanks for watching. See you next one.